Hi everyone, my name is Sergey Gusev. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll continue talking about portraits. I'm going to show how to paint a portrait in oils on canvas and also talk about abstract art and realistic art, how they're connected, and can realistic art be abstract at the same time. So let's get started. You see that I'm sketching out right now. I'm using a lot of medium, a lot of odorless thinner, and I start to sketch out a composition of the future portrait, and you can see that I'm working with really abstract spots. So it's even difficult to say if it's going to be a portrait or a landscape or a still life or anything else. So we start out with big and very abstract spots. So in my opinion, we always start, or we always should start, working with big abstract spots, even on a realistic painting. I think this way is much more personal, more interesting, more picturesque, more individual. You probably know that I don't really like to copy pictures or life models, and I always say that art should be more personal, more alive, a little unfinished, sketchy, not boring. And I also think that while painting we should have fun, get a lot of positive emotions and joy. And I think when we paint this way, when we start out from big spots of light and shadow, when we work very freely on the backgrounds, when we use somewhere really thin layers and somewhere really thick brush strokes or even knife strokes, we get a sort of unique painting and unique art piece. And when we start copying something, we actually try to compete with a photo camera, we try to depict everything we see, and we get sometimes a very realistic image, but from the other hand it is very unpersonal, looking very much like a photograph. And I think it is not what we should get when we paint, when we draw, when we work on art. And so right now you see that I'm still working on big spots. They are very much abstract, but at the same time we can see a face, we can see light and shadow. Right now we don't have details, but already we see the big proportions, so it is a little abstract, especially in the backgrounds, but at the same time it becomes more realistic. And the more we work, the more realistic it will become. I really like to start out working on a painting with a big white bristle brush, because it's really comfortable to paint big spots, big planes, have some mess on the canvas. Sometimes I use no palette and mix paint directly on canvas. And I think this way we'll learn a lot how to work with paints, how to work with textures, how to work with thin layers or really thick ones, and we get really necessary experience. And if we decide just to make a good underdrawing and then carefully paint on top, we can get a realistic image, but at the same time a bit not personal, not really alive. And in my opinion, it's not the best way for an artist. So right now I start to draw a little more. You see that I correct the big spots and I make them looking more realistic, looking like a face, forehead, hair, for example. But the beginning was very much abstract. And you see that it is very easy to change that abstract painting to a realistic one. I'm working on the shadow right now, adding warmer shades because the shadow is dark and warm when the light source is cold. I'm almost sculpting because I have a lot of paint on the canvas. It's really easy to sculpt the big form of the head, big planes of the head. And that is what I care about mostly right now. Of course, I will finish some details, make the portrait looking alike, but still I will keep it a little unfinished, fresh, with big brushstrokes in the backgrounds. I actually didn't film how I completed this painting, but at the end I will show the pictures of how it turned out. And you will be able to judge the final painting, the final result. And if you like it, I really hope you will try to follow my advices and create something like this. So, when you paint, when you work like this, it's really important, in my opinion, to feel positive emotions, have some fun, joy, and enjoy the process of creation. So we don't just copy what we see, but we create something new, and it doesn't have to completely match the original, the source picture or the model. So of course, when we're working on a portrait, it should look alike, so the proportions should be correct, but at the same time the colors we should choose by ourselves. So they don't have to match the original ones. You can make them cooler or warmer, make the contrast stronger. So it's up to you. You are absolutely free to express yourself and make something unique, something new, something interesting, first of all for you. The idea of this painting is to start out from big abstract spots, light, shadow, have some mess, have some fun, and make something you have never done before. You know, there are no rules. You are absolutely free to create anything you want. You don't have to listen to anyone, you don't have to follow the rules. Of course, in my opinion, it's really important to have some basic rules in the head, but when you paint, you don't have to think about them. You don't have to follow them directly. You should do something you prefer, and there are no rules to make an art piece, because it's only your choice. So you see that we started out from a mess, abstract painting, and now it turns out to be very much realistic. I start to add some details, work on the eyes. I even took a smaller synthetic brush, and right now I'm working on the details. Okay, I'm slowly getting to the end. As I mentioned, I haven't filmed how I was completing this painting, so I will show you the pictures. But I think that I filmed the main process, the biggest part of the process, and I hope that you understood my idea that you should start painting with big abstract spots, with some kind of mess on your canvas, and don't care for any rules or for what people will say and how they will judge you. This is your painting, your decision, your art, and so you should not listen to anyone. At the very end, I want to answer my own questions. Can realistic art be abstract at the same time? Yes, I'm sure it can, and I'm sure that realistic art is very much abstract. If you look at any realistic painting or drawing, or even hyper-realistic drawing or painting, you will notice that it consists of small spots of light and shadow. And when you look close at them, you'll see that they are very abstract. But from a big distance they look realistic. So it's like a mosaic which consists of small pieces which do not look realistic at all, but from a bigger distance they look like a realistic image. Okay, I'm going to slowly finish this painting, and let's take a look at how it turned out. Let's take a look at the final result I got. I really enjoyed the process. It was really interesting and funny. I think that I made it as I planned, as I wanted, as I felt. So I really hope I inspired you, and I really hope that you will take your canvas and brushes and paints and follow my tips and create something interesting, something personal, maybe a bit abstract or maybe very much abstract. It's actually up to you guys. If you like this video, share it with your friends to help me out, subscribe to this channel and my Instagram and Facebook accounts. Don't forget to visit my webpage where you can find the full video tutorials. I wish you good luck with your artworks, guys, and see you soon in my next tutorial.